The memory was not a full story, just a feeling. It was cold. Tom, 3 years old, stood in a big, echoing room. People hurried past, shoes clicking on the hard floor. He held a woman's trembling hand. Her face was a blur of sadness and dark hair. The air smelled of old wood, metal, and winter. He sat on a cold bench, alone. The woman was gone. He rolled a toy car on the bench, its wheels making a lonely sound. He waited, expecting her to return with every rush of cold air from the doors. She never came. Time slowed, the station's noise faded. The cold was more than winter. It was the cold of being alone in a crowd. A police officer found him. The officer's voice was gentle, but Tom stayed silent, clutching his toy car. Being held was warm, but not the same. It was the end of one life, the start of another. This fragment of memory became the foundation of his life. Who was the woman? Why did she leave? Did she love him? These questions lived in a quiet corner of his mind. The memory never faded. It was the first chapter of his story, written by someone else. A little boy, alone on a cold bench, waiting. Tom was adopted by the Millers, a kind couple. They gave him warmth, a new name, and love. His childhood was happy. Friends, toys, baseball, snowmen. From the outside, his life looked perfect. But the old question followed him, a shadow even on sunny days. At night, he thought about the train station and the woman's face. He wondered if he had her eyes or smile. His parents were honest, but knew little. He was found alone, with no note, no name. They encouraged his questions, wanting him to feel safe and loved. As he grew, the question became a need. He saw friends who looked like their parents, shared easy connections. Tom loved his family, but felt different. His story started before them. He felt like a book with the first chapter missing. He longed to find that missing chapter, to know the author. The ache was quiet but constant. He was connected to the Millers, but also to a ghost. This longing wasn't about replacing his family. It was about completing himself. He wanted to understand his own story. Why was he left? Was it sadness? Danger? The not knowing was hardest. Even the greatest love couldn't fill that space. At 16, Tom took action. His parents gave him the box of items he was found with, the old toy car, a police report. The report was brief, no names, no clues. He spent hours at the library searching old Chicago newspapers from 1983. He scrolled through microfiche, hoping for any mention of a found child. The newspapers were silent. Each search brought hope, then disappointment. The silence made him feel invisible, as if his life before the station never happened. While friends thought about cars and dates, Tom searched for a face he couldn't remember. The quest shaped him. He became patient, thoughtful, serious. He learned to handle disappointment. The search wasn't just for his birth mother. It was for himself. He wondered about his heritage: Irish, Italian, Polish. Chicago was a city of immigrants. His roots could be anywhere. The journey was lonely, but necessary. He had to know who he was. As Tom grew up, the search continued but became harder. He built a life, college, career, friends, love, but the search was always there. He contacted Chicago police. No new details. Adoption records were sealed, laws strict. Every closed door felt like rejection. He understood the laws, but for him, they were barriers. The world seemed to say, forget the past, move on. But how could he forget a part of himself? He hired a private investigator. No luck. Another dead end. Hopelessness crept in. Years passed. He turned 30, then 40. He built a good life, thought about adopting a child himself. He tried to accept that his story started with the Millers, but acceptance wasn't peace. The question never left, just became quieter. It waited, a whisper in the back of his mind. He wondered if he'd ever know the truth. In the 2020s, DNA testing became popular. Tom hesitated. So many disappointments. The kit sat on his counter, a box of hope and fear. One night, He finally did it. At 44, he owed it to the little boy on the bench to try again. He sent the sample, then waited. Weeks passed. He checked his email daily, expecting nothing. He prepared for another dead end, but a small part of him dared to hope. Then, one Tuesday, the email arrived. "Your DNA results are ready." His heart raced. He saw his ancestry, Irish, Eastern European, then under DNA relative's birth mother. A name, Eleanor. It was real. After 41 years, he had a name. The mystery had a face. The search had a direction. Everything was about to change. Seeing Eleanor on the screen was surreal. His birth mother was no longer a ghost. He stared at the name, saying it aloud. The DNA site let him send a message. What could he say to someone he'd searched for his whole life? He wrote and rewrote a short, gentle message for 2 days. He didn't want to accuse, just to know. He was nervous, excited, even a little angry, but understanding mattered more. He knew this could shock her. He braced for any response, even silence. Finally, he wrote, "Hello, my name is Tom. I was adopted. I believe you may be my birth mother. I'm not angry, I just have questions. I'd love to hear from you." He sent it, heart pounding. The wait was agonizing. Every notification made his heart jump. Days passed, no reply. Disappointment crept in. Maybe she was scared or gone. He prepared for silence. But on the third evening, a new message appeared. It was from Eleanor. His hand shook as he opened it. Eleanor's first message was short, full of shock and emotion. "Oh my God, yes, it's you. I never thought. I have prayed for this day my whole life." Relief washed over Tom. He was not forgotten. They exchanged messages, then emails. Eleanor told him his name was Daniel. She was 19, alone when he was born. She worked 2 jobs, did her best. He loved toy cars, had a bright smile. She sent a faded photo, her and a smiling toddler. In 1983, she lost her job, was evicted, had nowhere to go. Shelters were unsafe, she was desperate. Leaving him at the station was an act of love, not abandonment. She hoped he'd be found and have a better life. She never had other children, haunted by guilt. Her story was not an excuse, but a confession. Tom's anger melted into sadness and empathy. After weeks of emails and calls, they decided to meet. Eleanor lived near Chicago. Tom flew back to where his story began. He was nervous, but it was anticipation, not fear. They met at a quiet coffee shop. He recognized her instantly, older, but the same. Their eyes met through the window. The world disappeared. It was just them. They embraced, holding 41 years of pain and longing. Tom felt the cold he'd carried his whole life melt away. They cried, not with sadness, but with overwhelming emotion. They talked for hours, sharing stories and photos. She was grateful he'd been loved. They discovered shared habits, the same laugh, strangers, yet family. The reunion wasn't a magic fix, but a beginning. The missing chapter was found. A new one was just beginning.